Ooh, come on into the room, everybody. Come on into the room, honey. We back. We back. You know what? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, where is Tracy? Come on into the room, y'all. Come on into the room. We back, niggas. Niggas want that smoke. Niggas can get that smoke. It's 2021. We leaving this shit behind. But it's still 2021. So you want that smoke? I guess you can have that smoke. All right. I don't know if this is what you want to do. It is blank, no name, no nothing, boo thing. But I know you're working on a new device, so this is what we gonna do. I'm gonna welcome everybody into the room. What's up again? Betty White, I don't appreciate you missing. This is the third sassy show you didn't miss, I think. Do better. Do better. Reevaluate your priorities, Betty White. Okay, what's up, kind of me? What's up, my model citizen? Q Squad, you started this shit, girl. No, I'm just. Yes, indeed, Miss Baker. Yes, indeed. 8 Ball, MJG. What's up? What's up, Villanora, girl? What be wrong with them? I wonder. Villanora, what be wrong with them? What's up, Jess? With the mess. What's up, Levon? Okay, boo. Oh, shut up. What's up, big man? All right, y'all. I gotta blame it on somebody, girl. Okay, I gotta blame it on your inquisitive ass. Okay. All right. Is this you, Blank?
Hello. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Blank. I can hear you great. I hate that your name is not up there, though.
Well, we want to be generic for this particular live, especially since it's the Langston's pop-up shop. I've been promising this for a couple of months now. I've been teasing it. That sometimes when these content creators talk recklessly, which they are prone to do, it is the beef sector, then we have to provide an adequate response to the reckless language that these content creators have used. I want to thank everyone for attending. This is my first ever live. I guess I officially become a content creator now. I hear it's a lot of hard work involved. I see a lot of hard work being uh, utilized by a lot of content creators. And I remember the time, you remember Soap and Wasp, right? Hello?
I clicked myself off to give you the floor. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. You remember Soap and Wasp. There was a lot of hoopla around Soap and Wasp having his first live because he was really great in the chat of various content creators. Very prolific, well known, very, perceived to be a very funny guy. And there was a lot of anticipation for his first ever live. And his first live, I went in like everybody else. I said, "Oh wait, this is going to be amazing," and went in, and he flopped. It was miserable. Now
Hmm.
we know that it's no fault of his own. Everyone can't do this. Everyone is not as articulate as myself. Everyone is not as humorous as me. Everyone is just not have that certain panache, to succeed in becoming a content creator. I choose not to be a content creator because there's no money in it. I mean, these content creators do it because that little money they make, it's big money for them. So I say this about Soap and Watch to say uh, to other people who are thinking about becoming a content creator, it's not that easy. It's not as easy as just turning on the mic and just talking. You have to be funny. You have to be sensitive. You have to be compassionate. These are things you have to do if you want to be successful. These are points I'm giving you if you want to be successful. But if you have all of that, then you will be a success. But if you realize early on, which all credit due to Soap and Wasp for realizing this may not be for him, he backed away from it. Unfortunately, we have content creators who should have quit after the first live they did, but they continue to bore the few people who listen to them. God bless you. I mean, maybe you need it as an outlet to vent or something like that, but just know you'll never really be successful because you just don't have it. And I don't know why people just don't say that. You just don't have it. But look, the reason why I called for this special Langston's pop-up stop is because I heard I heard Sassy's name being thrown about on Sir King's live earlier, and this kind of what preceded Sir King's live is he also mentioned Sassy's name on Bree's channel just out of the blue, just recklessly, how Sir King is prone to do. And I think he thinks that by attacking Sassy, he's getting at me or he's triggering somebody. Yeah, you can't trigger me, but because I bully bullies in person and on the internet, been doing it for years. I am what you call a real troll, Sir King. Now, if I really had any despise, any type of disdain or I despise you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And, I don't get into that whole making threats and, oh, I'm going to do this and do that. That's a waste of energy. Because for the most part, content creators, not just in the beef sector, but on the whole, are cowards. You have to understand that. But they feel a sense of power when they get online because they have like-minded people that they're attracted to who think like them. So they get a little full of themselves. They start smelling themselves. So you know how that is. And sometimes you have to remind these content creators like Sir King that they're no different than anybody else. And especially Sir King. And this is why I wanted to do this live because no one has really broken down Sir King and provided a case study like it needs to be done. I mean, my first introduction to Sir King was on I think it was on Tracy's panel, and I had no idea who he was. He seemed a very affable, congenial guy. I was like, oh, okay. This guy, he's hiding behind an avatar, much like myself. Seemed like he understood why you would need to hide behind an avatar because, look, the milieu that we're currently in here. It's such that we have to be kind of private about who we are. So yeah, I could kind of relate to the guy. He seemed at that time to be well spoken. He conducted himself correctly. He wasn't really arguing with women. He would, he would have some back and forth with Tracy or others, but it wasn't what we see now. And what we see now today is like a complete 180 from back then. But let's not jump too far ahead. So early on, I saw him, and there were accusations that he was the rents. And one other problem when he first started was a lot of people, when I would click a link, because yeah, I was clicking the link early on without really knowing the environment I was in, and I was speaking recklessly, much like I'm doing now. And a lot of people said, "Hey, are you Sir King?" And some people were adamant I was Sir King. There was uh, Miss Pam of You as a View. For those of you who don't know, she was very adamant I was Sir King. I was on her live, and she was like, she thought she was in, you know, it kind of like in on the joke, but there was no joke. I wasn't Sir King, but she was like, "Wink, wink. I know you're not Sir. I know you're not Sir King. Wink, wink." That type of deal. And I thought it was kind of humorous. So that was kind of like my first introduction to Sir King. There was some confusion about us. We were on panels together, but I generally ignored the guy because you really don't want to cozy up too much to characters like this. And I'll tell you why, because a little bit later, but I want you to know Sir King is a dangerous guy. Dangerous guy. Most of you, well, not most of you, look at me. Some of you may know that I told the story back on Avatar Nation how I would have uh, lawyers, I would have counselors, like I would mental health counselors, social workers, a wide array of professionals, and I would charge them money to watch the beef sector. And some of these people got hooked on the beef sector, but the majority of them, to be honest with you, thought it was trash and thought these were trash people. And it was a mixture of races, black and white. Uh, None of the black people saw any value in the beef sector. They thought it was a joke. And like I mentioned earlier, they thought it was people just playing games, pretending to be what they were in real life. And to me, that aspect of it was funny. Watching Dory pretend to be an attorney and people, trying to convince others that she's not an attorney when it was clear she wasn't. Or you have people who claim they're social workers, things like that. It was very common. So these people would get offended. Some of these people would get offended. And all of the black people, they were like, oh, this is a minstrel show, and attack me for liking this, and I'm having to try to defend this, which, I'm happy to do because I love it. It got me through the pandemic. And that's why I can honestly say I have a love affair with the beef sector. So before you critique me for being harsh about my comments about the people in the beef sector, understand this. I don't really believe in absolute terms. I'll use them sometimes, but I don't want to say all or anything. That got me in trouble with Tracy early on. Most of you know that story. I said everybody in the beef sector were losers. And Tracy, she didn't like that, rightfully so. And I learned the error of my ways, so I don't say that. But now I've kind of moved to the middle. I like to say there's a considerable number of people within the beef sector who are losers, but definitely not all. There are professionals within this sector, and there's legit people here. So I don't want to paint everybody with that same broad brush. So, so I don't like cozying up to people like Sir King because Sir King is a mimicker. They mimic people who they look up to, who they put on a pedestal. He has stolen words. If you hear him say incessant, that's because I used that early on in Avatar Nation. I'll give throwaway words uh, deliberately to see who will pick that vocabulary I chose to use at a particular time, who will incorporate that into their lexicon going forward. As several content creators do that, but it is Sir King I singled out who did it repeatedly, which, I started to be able to make some assessments about who Sir King was. Very obsessive, very particular. When he first created his channel, I didn't drop down. I listened to him first because I said, the guy is kind of boring. He's pulling the whole agenda. And that agenda thing, let me explain this to you. People who have limited intelligence, they may be smarter than the people around them, very limited. They're kind of like the smartest guy in the room. They will sometimes, the insecure ones, will want you to believe that they are indeed superior. And Sir King wanted to take what did he do? He took the agenda and he stole that from a concept the triple Red X had. And he admittedly admitted that he did steal certain things from different content creators, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the agenda, when I saw the agenda, I knew immediately, again, I was able to make some assumptions about that. He wanted to give the impression that he was a professional. And people asked him, well, kind of what his backstory was, and he would tell them he was into coding. Now, Sir King is almost illiterate when it comes to computing and technology. He has reached out to women in the beef sector who have helped him to understand things like stocks and crypto. And then when he finally dipped his toe into it, he put like $100 into it. Then he started, giving out disclaimers. Why I don't want to recommend this to my people because it could be a risk. And he was just all over the place. He really never had an understanding. But I gave him a pass. I said, hey, the guy, he is kind of well spoken. Give him a pass. But there's a lot of things not adding up because when it came to technology, he didn't know too much. he didn't speak that language. And and I deal with people who code, I deal with people who are data engineers, I deal with analysts, and every day. And so I knew he didn't speak that language. And the way he spoke, you could tell he was not a true professional. He was a bozo. But he did have people who believed him at that time. Early on, you had Peace Love, Custer. You had a lot of people in Avatar Nation. A lot of people I liked. I thought they were interesting. They were entertaining. They brought a lot to the conversation. Duchess, the female Duchess, she was in there. And we had a good time. It was a good time, but it was evident that he was trying to hide who he really was. And at that time I still didn't know who he was, but my group of people who were professionals started making some assessments of him, and then we could tell he was exhibiting narcissistic behavior, obsessive behavior. I mean, is very particular and meticulous about looking at certain things, looking at words, to the point where it's almost psychotic. And you see evidence of his obsessive behavior, wanting to warn Tasake repeatedly about stereo, trying to pretend like he was concerned about Billie Jean when trying to deal with the gentleman in New Mexico, who he is painted as a horrible racist. All the while, when he was the rent, I left that part out because everybody at this point knows he's the rent. He should come out with the truth, but he won't. But he was the rents, and the gentleman from New Mexico, they used to work together, and that isn't necessarily bad because, as some of you know, a lot of content creators who are now pro, who are now anti, the guy in New Mexico used to work with the guy in New Mexico. A lot of prominent ones. You know that. Well, those of you who've been around a while, and then they've fallen out, and then all of a sudden the gentleman in New Mexico has become a big bad boogeyman. We know how this goes. But look, Sir King, I know I'm dragging this out, but you have to understand how he is viewed by others outside of the sector to really appreciate who Sir King is, or unappreciate who he is. Sir King has gone on over the course of time from being a guy who would want people to put money in a swear jar for cursing because he was totally against cursing. He was a champion of black women. He was an advocate for black women. And he would always say, I don't talk about the aesthetics of people. That's another word that I utilize that he also adopted. Again, he's a mimicker. He's a mimicker, and I'm used to it. I don't really get bothered by that. I mean, it's good that you have people emulate uh, their idols, and Sir King won't admit it, but I know he worshipped me, and I thought he had a platform that was worthwhile, and I contributed to it. And no, I don't want my money back like you wanted money back from Jay Wilson, Sir King. Uh, Definitely not that petty, and definitely not that broke where I would need the let me see, the itemized $725 in total that you were sent by me. I don't want it back. I could say that I'd want it back and I'd be justified, just like you felt you were justified in getting your money back from Jay Wilson. And the reason for the justification for requesting a refund, if I had wanted to do that, would be that you engaged in fraudulent behavior over a series of months. Just clear fraudulent behavior from the bouncer challenge, where you had someone, and this has always been brushed under the rug, like a lot of scams in this sector, because look, let's be honest, this is Scamville. And new subscribers, if you don't know any better, a lot of these content creators are old school scammers. I mean, just scammers. And I love it. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, they're not scamming me. It's just entertainment because I'm watching them scam you. And I know that sounds crazy, but this sector is dysfunctional. So if you're in this sector day in and day out, you're dysfunctional too. Don't try to deny it. Don't try to say, "Oh, not me. I just I don't even drop down. If you provide a click and a view for dysfunctional behavior repeatedly, keep coming back to it, you are dysfunctional yourself. Understand that. Embrace it. I'm including me on it. I'm dysfunctional. Sassy is dysfunctional. Our dysfunctionality works. It works for us. And and it's hard for a lot of people, such as Sir King, to really appreciate that. They try to denigrate our relationship by calling it a virtual relationship. He thought that would trigger. And to like anybody else, that would have triggered somebody. Oh, virtual, how dare you? We've met, we've done this. No, we don't have to tell you anything. We got another bozo, similar, very similar to Sir King, Kiki. He also says the same thing. He said some vile things. I may not be uh, uh, piping Sassy down correctly for her to behave the way she does on social media. Now, to anybody else, an idiot, they would immediately run to their channel and just start trading insults back and forth with Kiki. But as I said earlier, Kiki is a guy who is depressed, who gets a crazy check, who doesn't even have a car, and he has a cracked windshield that he can no longer film himself driving anymore because I've made it very clear I want him to fix that windshield. If I have to give you $60 to get some epoxy, I'll be happy to send that to you, Kiki. You get it fixed, and you show me that, and I will definitely super chat you $60 to get that fixed. That's all it costs, and it's been cracked for a whole year. You know I'm not lying. Now you can insult my toilet, you can, which is a weird insult, man. I mean, just think about it. I'm telling you the facts of your life. I'm telling you truth. And you're talking about my toilet and then resorting to basically threatening to rape my girlfriend. Now, if that isn't, and I would be, you know, somebody would say, well, Langston, aren't you a little peeved and pissed off at Kiki? No, he wants to get a reaction. I showed him how I can get a reaction out of him. You saw what he did yesterday. Immediately ran to his live and said the most vile things about Sassy after he heard what I said, because he can't really come at me. He has to take it out on Sassy, just like Sir King. They take it out on her, and it's unfortunate that these grown men, and Sir King is in his 50s, these grown men, and Kiki's in his 30s, even though you wouldn't know the way he's coddled in this sector and in life, you wouldn't know that, but he's in his 30s. Uh, these men continuously attack women, and they claim to be straight. They claim to be straight. Now, we do know that Kiki he's, we've heard these rumors, and again, these are rumors, but we've heard that he has masturbated for gay men in this sector for pay. Did you hear me? Yeah, you heard me right. You heard me right. I hope I didn't stutter. And Kiki, I know you'll deny it vehemently. You'll say, oh, he's lying. But no. You know when I'm putting sauce on something and when I'm telling the truth. That's the rumor, buddy. You know it, and I know it. I think, and you also know how you behave with the women that you like in this sector. You'll pull on their pigtails like you're in second grade, which goes along with you being developmentally disabled. I understand why. You feel insulting women first, and then coming back and being soft and nice to them. You you're thinking that's how you're going to pull women in this sector, and to that end, you have been somewhat successful with some of these women. They've fallen for your tricks, like, oh, Kiki is so nice, it's just an act. And no, he is what he is. He's a short guy with a short brain, limited education, who does nothing all day but play video games and assault women verbally and maybe physically. We'd have to talk to his wife about that. Uh, and that's what he does, and talks about assaulting children as well. These are all documented. There's a whole file people have on Kiki and Sir King. Just the juxtaposition of Sir King saying he's an advocate of black women and he would never disrespect a woman for their aesthetics. But then we juxtapose that with him bashing Brie, calling her a rhino, Jenny Craig. I mean, very juvenile for a 50-something year old guy. It's very, very, very odd, very odd. But then again, it's entertainment. And again, as I said from the outset, I bully bullies. This is what I do. I enjoy it. Now, I got to be honest with you. Sassy doesn't find too much enjoyment. She thinks the whole thing is juvenile and infantile, and sadly, I have to say it. She is correct. She's correct. Whole thing is juvenile, and it's got her dragged into things, and that's why we had to break off things. So as I said earlier, she will no longer be addressing, or neither will I, addressing these clowns on her dedicated platform, her sassy Sunday morning lives. That won't be happening. However, as I've told you, and here we are now, the Langston pop-up shop is open for business. And anytime I feel I need to get you bozos back in line to tap your head with a newspaper virtually, like, the dogs that you are, have no qualms about doing so, and do it with a smile on my face. So I don't want anybody to belabor under the delusion that you've triggered Sassy, you've triggered me. No, I love doing it. If you respond to this, I'm going to say, and as I told you, Sir King, you clearly don't listen, sir. You clearly, I'm going to, what does Tracy say? I can show you better than I can tell you. And what that means is I will be able to display things and to provide commentary on parts of your life that you probably thought no one knew about or no one was aware of. But you are a predator, sir. You are a predator. You attack women. You attack black women who speak their minds. You've run off Peace Love. You've run off Duchess. You've run off V. Lenore. Just countless women. And we've heard about some of the women that you try to pull back in to check on them after they left, only because you missed their donations. We know about that. We also know about the fake girlfriend. Remember Lisa? Did you ever tell your audience about Lisa? No, you didn't tell them about Lisa, right? Tell them what subscriber Lisa, who the subscriber Lisa was. I'll be happy to drop that in the next Langston pop-up shop. Let me get back to the bounce it challenge, because I think that is overlooked. This is one of his better scams. What he did, and I don't want to make this too long, but what Sir King did was what a lot of people do when they do those raffles and stuff. It's an old scam, which is kind of basic. But he had a plant, an unknown person in his chat win the Bounce It Challenge. And it was, I believe it was an 8-year-old girl, which why an 8-year-old girl would be watching Sir King, that all seemed odd to me. But it was at 11 o'clock at night, and they're showing the videos, and apparently this girl, I forget her name. Do you remember her name, Sassy?
I can't
Was
remember.
Sapphire?
Yeah. Something.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Sapphire. So some some girl named
No, little
Sapphire.
girl. Mm-hmm.
Some little girl named Sapphire. How he knew this little girl, I don't know. I don't want to get into that again, even though that goes back to him talking to these kids. But Sir King, you got to leave the kids alone. But anyway, he had this Sapphire person, this kid, win the Bouncer Challenge, and everybody said, "Well, wait a minute, who's Sapphire? Whose mother is he?" So then somebody named Sapphire's mommy popped up, somebody who's never been in the chat previous to that or afterwards. Now because of this, he may try to dig up or create a Sapphire's mom, well, pull out the old name you used before to make it appear that way. If you go back to look at his Bounce It Challenge, it'll be very clear that that little girl wasn't even dancing to the Bounce It Challenge music. There was no branding for the Bounce It Challenge in the video. Anybody with a brain, and Sassy hates when I say that, but anybody with a brain could see, something's not right here. Then when you look later, Sapphire's mommy never appears again, and Sapphire, of course, rightfully so, never appeared again because she's an 8-year-old girl. So, uh, uh, this was the scam. Where you come up with a troll name to win your raffle prizes and stuff like. It's been done over and over. But people don't want to talk about it. And again, I stated why, because there's a lot of scammers here and game recognizes game, correct? So let's move on from that. So there's variety of like use cases of where Sir King has attempted to defraud women or belittle women. Now, like Mrs. Cruiser has said before, because his response to all of this is, well, you people made me this way. I've got to get down to your level. And Miss Cruiser rightfully asked him, like, you're saying you let other people shape how you behave? Now, this is a 50-year-old man, 50-something-year-old man that, you know, uh, a guy who has health issues. Uh, a lot of a lot of people don't know about this Sir King guy. I mean, they think he's somebody named Tobias and all of that. We know all about you. And we know about your health issues. We know all about you. He's a heavy guy. He wants to sew us some feet. He even has Sassy food. Sassy was like, "Did you see his feet?" I'm like, "You? What do you mean?" It was a long thing, but I mean, this look. We know what you look like. You're a chunky guy. And people have been actually saying you were gay or this or that. You lean gay, but you're really asexual. You're an incel. That's who you are. You came out of the incel sector, which is a small sector within the manosphere. That's where you originally came from. There's a whole bunch of characters like you, very familiar with you characters. You're all the same. You don't really, to be honest with you, he doesn't care about men or women. That's why when he talks about women, it became very clear that he was disconnected with his audience because he never talks about real life situations. So what he did was he wanted to rebrand his image. So then you start hearing him pretending to be in the car, pretending to be looking out, and then he would all of a sudden see a woman on the street, and then he would act like he was all excited because a woman in a thong walked by, and what did he say? He said, "Where's my camera? I wish I had my camera." Which was
Wait, repeat that. A woman willy nilly walking
mm,
around in a thong.
right, right, right. So let's say, for instance, he was at a beach, parked
Mm-hmm.
in a car, staring at women who are walking around on the beach, and he wants to take pictures of them. It told me, and then I'm thinking to myself, this, exactly what this guy's doing, and then those poor women in his audience, because now it's like those poor victims in his audience, they don't see through him. Look, Avatar Nation, listen, look, get close to your receiver. Get close to your receiver. And listen carefully. Sir King is a dangerous man. He is only in it to make the little bit of dollars he can. He is a fraud. He is not successful. He doesn't like men or women. I personally, and I don't have any proof of this, so I'm not going to lie on him. I don't know if he's gay leaning. I presume he is, but I don't have any proof of that. But what I do know is he's asexual. What I do know is that he's a mimicker. What I do know is he puts me on a pedestal. And what I do know, initially, he was a little bit of jealous with Sassy, me being with Sassy, which is very weird to me, But we see you for your works, Sir King. But I don't want to take up too much time because I know we have some of your victims uh, in the audience. And look, I will probably have to kick carry another pop-up shop because I'm sure you will be triggered. Maybe Kiki might be triggered. Maybe that bozo stomp down will be triggered. They should be triggered just because I'm a guy who's not a content creator and I'm more interesting than both of you or all three of you bozos combined. You know why? Because I have an education, because I'm intelligent, because it's not an act. I don't have to show degrees. I don't have to talk to you about my academic credentials or my job, or I don't have to do any of that because the cream rises to the top. Just by listening to me, you can tell, hey, Langston is the real deal. And that's all you need. You don't need the agendas, the PowerPoints, the degrees on the back shelf. You don't need to tell us you're this or that or nah. It'll come out. It'll come out. But I would like to take this time out right now to invite any victims. Well, they may not want to be perceived as victims. Let me scale it back a little. Any people who have some commentary about the real Sir King, not the guy that's pretending to be a nice guy. That guy, he's shown who he truly is now. Now it's up to you all to come to your senses, like most women who have left him, You know, it, it's up to you to realize you have been played, Avatar Nation, because you're not in it for what I was in it. He deserved every penny of the money I gave him because he was entertaining and it got me through a pandemic. But did I know he was full of crap? Yeah. Was I gonna? And you could tell by how we interacted. You could tell that I knew what was up, and he knew I knew what was up. And no matter what he says, whatever gaslighting techniques he'll use on you, don't fall for it. The guy's a fraud. He is a fraud. He will never show himself. God forbid you see what the guy looks like. God forbid you see what this guy looks like. No, and see, they can't say. You remember when I first came on here, they said I was in a wheelchair. Then I saw myself walking around. Then on Duchess Kelly Love and Bree's channel, I saw myself in the mirror. So you can't say I'm fat. I mean, I'm not little. I'm not a little small guy. So there's really nothing you can say. You can't say I'm ignorant. You can't really say anything. So what you're reduced to doing is to lie on Sassy and myself or talk about my toilets like that pea brain Kiki. That's what you're forced to do. Lame insults, they don't really hit. They don't hit correctly, Kiki. Go back to the drawing board, get with your crew, try to work on something that will really be relevant. But it's going to be kind of tough, man, because we're built different. We're built different, man. But yeah, feel free to click the link. Anybody. I don't even know who's in the chat. I'm just chilling, vape pen in hand, got a little Bombay Sapphire, and I'm just up here with my baby. And she's not virtual as a lot of you bozos like to call it. She's my real life girlfriend. And do I think dating off the internet is weird? Hell yeah. Sassy told you, we both think it's weird. I wouldn't recommend, but I will tell you this: during the pandemic, this is how dating was done. It was moving towards this direction anyway, with Bumble, Tinder, POF. Well, POF is the rock bottom of dating sites. Well, I hope those of you who are single, I hope you're not on POF. Come on now, we can do
I
better.
know I know of somebody who got married to a very nice gentleman off of POF.
Mm.
I know it's not the norm, but I just wanted to put that out there.
See, and this is what I love this. And this is Sassy and I, if you heard our conversations, because she is so fair. And so, like, I can be talking about her enemy, not her enemy, because she doesn't really get like that, but somebody she doesn't really care for, like in the sector. I can be talking about that person negatively. But if I'm saying something incorrectly or adding that sauce to it, then she will advocate for that person. It's crazy, and I like that because it makes sure that I am as fair and balanced as I can be in in my
Her assessment.
commentary
Mhm.
and my assessments. Yeah, so I really appreciate that. About there was another thing Sir King said about checking you on Brianna's live.
Mhm.
No. What happened? I love the way he tried to make it look like I pulled an Ike on you.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up, Sassy. Yeah, I was like, okay, okay, that's not exactly
but
what happened.
but there may be some people who didn't watch that live, and Bree, and feel free to go back and look at it. It was not. It wasn't mean spirited or anything. I just wanted to state my opinion without any assistance from Sassy, and that's all I did. And that live is still up. Feel free to, and then you'll see how Sir King uh, consistently manipulates the truth. But like I said, I am more than happy to get more in depth with Sir King, Kiki, uh, on my pop up shop, not on Sass. Sassy, look, I'm not trying to be funny, but y'all are beneath her, man. She doesn't need to waste time on two bozos like you. I mean, two guys attacking a woman because you can't get at me. Nah, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. And anybody who trusts you two, I don't trust. Now, I may smile and act like you cool, but if you side with these two bozos, you may just end up in the pop up shop one day. Look, if no one's clicking, are you ready to get out of here?
I'm ready. I think I'm gonna hit him with another 8 ball at MJG, and we can get out. Did you get everything out, huh? Because we leaving this all behind in 2021. So
I know, and it's going to be so hard because these people give me so much material. So much material. These bozos give me so much material, and they think they're triggering, and they just don't know. They don't know.
he
They
is.
just
He
don't know.
thoroughly enjoys this. He thoroughly. He stated it correctly. He
And I,
thoroughly he thoroughly enjoys this. I think it is beneath me, and I know it
yeah,
is.
it
I
is.
would
It is.
prefer, yeah, I would prefer to watch from afar. That's why I don't talk about people. And if I do, it's only because you've come after me 15 times. So now it's my turn.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah,
Shots fired.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the only way. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So, well, hold on real quick.
okay,
So we're
sure.
all clear. We're all on the same page. Um, Sassy is not going to waste time talking about Kiki or Sir King going forward, but uh, we will be talk. I will be talking about you two and any others who start to talk reckless. And I'm sure some of you don't try to rope me into any fake beef. You remember when Custer tried to rope me in that fake beef a couple? He still hasn't apologized for that. Yeah, he to me that's like he tried to punk me because he said I don't have enough respect for Langston to like go behind the scenes and say, "Hey, do you want to participate in this fake?" That's something about me being a paymaster. If you knew anything, and he does know this, I don't cash up anybody. Only super
Nobody.
chat.
Nobody.
So see that guy in New Mexico, he didn't know that. So when he was calling out, "Oh, I just got a cash app from Langston," he didn't realize I don't cash app anybody,
Never
and
have.
there's a reason for that,
Right.
which I'm not going to tell you people.
Right.
But no, I'm definitely. I was almost going to drop a hint,
No.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to tell you people, but I would never cash app anybody. And so that was so. Go back to the drawing board, but just know that I did treat that as a sign of disrespect. And like I
I'm not
said,
even sure if I'm glad you're saying that because I'm not even sure if he knew that.
no, just the very fact that you would just, and then his crew, I like his crew. I like Peace, Love, and Fantastic. But then I'm like, why didn't they sit him down, or is he just operating just recklessly? Now, based on what I've seen over the past couple of weeks, that could be the case. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But he's never said, "Hey, Langston, no, my bad. I don't want to be roped into any fake beefs, man. I mean, that's corny to me. It's cornball shit, man." And so I treat that like disrespect, man. So I kind of like fell back from the dude. But I did. I think I got everything I needed to say. Am I forgetting anything else?
I don't think so because we didn't really talk about it a lot. You were just like he had a lot of shit to say and you wanted to speak on it. So I'm not really even sure what he was saying in his live. I know there was a couple of people that were very upset and offended But hopefully you got it out. Like I said, if not, then we have a few more days.
Yeah, we got a few more days. Pop-up shop can always open up for business. But this was nice.
You liked it? Did you
This
get it off?
no,
Okay.
I'm letting them know this was a nice live. This was a nice live. I didn't really they don't have the information that we have. We don't have the resources we have. But it's all good. But and we are anti-doxers. We do not dox here.
Absolutely
And
not.
but we will expose predators. We will expose doxers. So if that's your thing, we don't want to be connected with you. If you're involved in any illegal behavior, then don't try to involve us because again we will flip the script on you. The predator will become the prey like this. And some of you have already become prey. You become, as we say in the streets, you have become food out here. And again, we don't talk about what we do online on social media. You young people are going to have to realize that. You old people are going to have to realize that. You don't talk about all your business or what your plans are, this or that on social media. All you need to know is Sassy and I are ethical, upstanding citizens, taxpayers. We operate legally. So we hope everyone else is doing that as well. Uh, I want to bid everyone adieu. Thanks for turning out. This is my first live. I didn't feel any nervousness. I think that was due to the weed. I want to give a shout out to HB. I want to give a shout out to
Oh
HB.
God.
I don't even know if HB is in the chat. I'm not even looking at the chat because you never know. You get the wrong bozo pop up and I'll be, lose focus. So I deliberately looked away from the chat. So anybody thinking of becoming a content creator, just use this as a blueprint. Don't look at the chat. Just have your thoughts. Well, you don't need to write them down. I'm not writing anything down. This is a stream of consciousness. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for
Hold on.
turning out.
You have a
What?
question from Kind to Me.
Yeah, I like kind of me. What's going on?
Yeah, she says, is he doing this for clicks and views too? I know he wants to get at Langston by mentioning Sassy, but why so much so lately? Your thoughts? That's what she says.
Well, yeah, that's a good question, kind of me. A flippant reaction would be, of course he's doing it for clicks and views. Uh, Look, we don't have 1,000 views. Sassy doesn't have 1,000 views on her channel. We're not even looking for that. What we
Mm-mm.
are looking for like-minded individuals, people who are intelligent. That's what we want to be known for. You can have the thousands of people. That's your thing. We want 500-600 people who think like us and we'll build from there. Who we're not with some of this ignorant stuff, all this yeah rah. I like it sometimes. I'm not knocking it. I like the rah rah, but sometimes I like intelligent conversations, and you can have intelligent discourse without a lot of yelling. It's the yelling and the vile things. I just don't get that. Some of the commentary lately has just been off the chain. But I would like to see this sector get into more of a mainstream thing. We'll talk about it later, and I will need the help of you other content creators, who you sane ones who I respect, and a lot of them are like the Honest Rose, the Bree, the Pizarro, the just I don't want to leave. You start naming names.
Yeah, once
You
you
got to
start
name
naming
all
names,
of
then
them.
you think, yeah, then you're
Houston
gonna leave somebody
Brad,
out. Yeah, there's a
Harley
lot of people.
Q.
Right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
lots of
There's a
people.
whole
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch. So don't
On
don't sue me
Brown,
if I.
Polo. We could keep going.
Woo! Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a
So
lot of people. So we're not
yeah,
so
remind me
just
never to
for
mention
yeah,
names again like
exactly. I'm
that.
like,
Yeah,
once you
yeah,
start mentioning names and somebody's gonna say you missed my name, but it's not the
yeah.
missing of a
Yeah.
name.
You know
It's
these
just that.
women are. These women are sensitive here. I can't even say women are sensitive here. They're gonna get at me for that. They'll.
Well, because it's not a gender thing. I mean, if we were in a male dominated area and you didn't mention someone's name, they're gonna take it as a slight. I know I
No,
would. So
no,
anyway,
not.
it's good enough to just say I did not. If I missed you, charge it to my head and not my heart, and you can and they'll understand.
Oh yeah, you used to use that a lot. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Mm-hmm.
incorporate that more into? Yeah, I'm surprised Sir King hasn't stolen that yet. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, have a good one, everyone.
Talk to you later, babe.
Bye.
Bye
Boot me.
bye. Oh, okay. Boot you, blank. All right, you guys. Well, that was the first Langston pop up. He did say he was going to do it a couple of months ago. Sometimes with masculine energy, you just have to let them be them. Enough is enough. And I guess today was his enough. So that was that. All right, I'm just going to highlight some of your comments because this is definitely still the Langston pop-up shop. Um, Thank you guys. I know I did not do what I normally do, which is address each and every one of you. Hopefully my mods got you. Um, if they didn't, thank you guys for coming in. I really, really appreciate y'all. I gotta go get dressed. I gotta go to take my uncle to lunch. Monday was his, dinner. Monday was his birthday, so happy birthday, uncle! And we're gonna go have us some nice Mexican food, Villanora. Woo! Ciao, 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 ciao. Well, all right, let's get out of here with the little MJG, shall we? Give me 1 second. Ciao. Oh no, it's okay, Molly. You know you're welcome. Now, Betty, on the other hand, I'm gonna cuss Betty out next week. Don't worry about it, Betty. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry your cute little head, Betty White. I'm gonna get your ass, bitch. But I'll let you have some fun today. All right, you guys. Bye. I'll see y'all on these streets. Okay. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a happy, happy holiday.